Hey y'all, I'm back. I was just thinking about something. You may hear the TV going on in the background, and I'm also lying down as I record this video. So forgive me if you hear any muffling. So, what I was thinking about is how I think most men are predators by nature. I don't mean predators in the sense of pathologically speaking. I'm saying I believe that most men are innately predators because of their higher sex drive compared to women and because of their higher testosterone levels. They tend to more actively seek out women for sex than a woman to seek out a man for sex. Not saying that there are not women who don't have high sex drives and who aren't promiscuous. Obviously, there are also men and women who are predatorial in the pathological sense, where they deliberately seek and prey upon people to victimize, and they actually get a thrill out of victimizing people who they see or perceive to have some kind of vulnerability or weakness. And that weakness may be, and I'm going to put weakness in quotations, the weakness may be youth, the fact that their victim is insecure in some way, maybe insecure about their appearance. The weakness may be the fact that the person is naive, lacking in knowledge about life, and lacking in life experience. It may be that the person or the victim has a low self-esteem, no confidence, doesn't know themselves, not sure about what they want out of their life, and the predator will take those weaknesses and vulnerabilities and use those vulnerabilities against their victim in order to get what they want. So obviously those people are sociopaths or narcissists because they're exploiting instead of helping these people to see their flaws or weaknesses or vulnerabilities and to help them to overcome those vulnerabilities and to gain some sort of fortitude and protection against would-be predators or attackers. They turn around and use those vulnerabilities against their victims in order to get what they want without any remorse or conscience or feelings of empathy for their victims and the impact of what their actions may bring to the lives of their victims. I uploaded a couple of videos several months ago regarding my experience with these guys who I met. 'Cause when I was a teenager, up until I was about maybe 21, I had a lot of encounters with predatory men. And most of those encounters took place when I was taking public transportation. Many of those encounters were with black men, older, most of the times ranging in age from about maybe 25. And even I had one guy who was like 65 to expose himself to me while I was taking public transportation, and I might make a video about that experience one day. I did have a lot of encounters with men trying to take advantage of me. I was young and naive, but at the same time, I have always had sort of an old soul about me. Like, even though I was naive, I also had some wisdom about myself. It's not like I was completely in the dark about what they were trying. I was not 100% aware of some of the tactics that some of these guys were using against me. But then at the same time, I knew that they were up to no good. We're living in a time where it's a lot more easier for predators to interact with children because of the internet and computers. Someone in another country can be interacting with a 13 or 14-year-old child over the internet and posing as another teenager without the unsuspecting child knowing. And it's just so much easier for a child to fall victim to these sick people. So I think that parents need to be ever so vigilant about who their children are communicating with over the internet. Also, ever so vigilant about who are their friends in real life. That they need to be introduced to their children's friends to know the types of people that their children are running with. What background are they coming from? What are their children's friends' family lives like? How do you know as a parent that your child's friend or friends aren't coming from homes where they're not being abused or being abused and then perpetrating those same abusive behaviors on your children? How do you know that that's not happening? Because some children are victims of physical violence and sexual abuse and molestation. Unfortunately, there are children who, once they've been victimized, they become victimizers and they begin to molest other children or sexually abuse other children. You have to be ever so vigilant about what's going on in your children's lives, and you also have to educate your children about the dangers of interacting with certain types of people. Either way, I think it's wrong. These groups of men that I'm talking about, the first group are the men who use women primarily for sex. They prey upon multiple women so that they can have sex with as many women as possible, and they view women basically as sexual conquest in order to validate themselves in their masculinity. They also use women to fulfill their hedonistic sexual desires. And then the other group of men that I'm talking about are the dudes who are just outright perverted. They derive a very sick and demented sense of pleasure from victimizing women and sometimes other men. Some of these people get off on the mere fact that they're taking advantage of someone. That's where they derive a lot of their sexual pleasures from, not necessarily in the act of having sex, but in the act of victimizing people. I feel disgusted by both groups of men. There's nothing wrong with wanting to have sex, but in the case of the guys who are using women for sex, I think that they're wrong, especially if they're not telling the women that they don't have any feelings for them beyond just wanting to have sex for them, and they are leading these people to believe that they love them just to get the sex. They're leading some of these people to believe that they love them or they have feelings for them because they think it's going to increase their chances of having sex with their targets.